Hello everyone, and welcome to my CBS Bold and Beautiful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Are Deacon's marriage proposal and Taylor's wedding plans finalized? According to teasers on The Bold and the Beautiful, Deacon Sharp and Taylor Hayes may now move on from one another since Sheila Carter has finally signed the divorce papers. It all depends on how soon Deacon pops the question and persuades Taylor to marry him. Given how obviously in love Taylor and Deacon are, it's safe to anticipate that a marriage proposal will eventually be made. Deacon and Taylor may begin planning their wedding after the documents are submitted and the divorce is finalized. Naturally, Taylor must first say yes. Fans are aware of Deacon's intense feelings for Taylor, so it's possible that he won't be able to wait long to ask her to marry him. Taylor and Deacon can't allow fear ruin their romance, even though they might be a little concerned about Sheila's response to their possible engagement news. In the end, Deacon might choose the ideal ring, pop the question, and ask Taylor to be his lifelong partner. Before you know it, Taylor and Deacon might decide on their wedding date. Deacon and Taylor will be allowed to start the next romantic chapter and eventually get ready for their wedding because Sheila just gave them their freedom. Nevertheless, there will always be new challenges in the soap opera industry. It's crucial to keep in mind that Taylor and Deacon can encounter some difficulties along the route. Sheila may conclude that it's unfair for Deacon and Taylor to live happily ever after while she is still alone, or she may decide not to fight for Deacon. Sheila has a history of scheming, therefore it is impossible to completely rule out a sabotage plot. There might be fresh difficulties and even more romantic intruders in the future, even if Sheila is able to keep Taylor and Deacon out of trouble. In the end, there's no assurance that Taylor and Deacon will reach the altar, but they may at least make an effort to do so. Stay in as spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful indicate that Deacon's marriage proposal may eventually cause some controversy. Who returns after the Forresters were forced to call in reinforcements? According to spoilers, the Forrester family will have to start over this week on The Bold and the Beautiful. Following Katie Spencer's major Logan runway show, Ridge Forrester put the office on hold. However, they will need to release something in order to compete with House of Logan. There aren't many real designers remaining at Forrester Creations at the moment. It seems that Ridge Forrester exclusively produces underpants for Brooke Logan. Eric Forrester is designing at half-mast and is on the verge of becoming elderly. The family's prodigy, R.J. Forrester, appears to be preoccupied with Elektra. At Forrester Creations, Zent Forrester is constantly motivated to work and appears to be constantly vying for recognition. However, it appears that his family does not take his employment seriously. Indeed, there are rumors that he may be the next to desert to the House of Logan. House of Logan appears to be hiring staff members everywhere at the moment. The new company's first runway show was a big success, and the boardroom is expanding. The team at Forrester needs to start making something if they want to be competitive. Many of the characters from The Bold and the Beautiful who are no longer on the show may be extremely helpful to the Forrester family. It appears that Thomas Forrester has disappeared once more. He ought to be assisting his family in creating their upcoming collection, right? There are rumors that the CBS soap opera has been requested to be returned by Quinn Fuller. If she went to work for Forrester Creations and had to contend with her son Wyatt Spencer, that would be intriguing. According to reports, Ashley Brewer is still on maternity leave and may return at any time. The fashion war could also be used by the soap opera to revive a number of older characters. There must be some stragglers seeking employment with the Spectras and the Malones. Who should Forrester Creations recruit back to help them fight Katie and Bill in the fashion war, in your opinion? Sheila's push, marriage crisis, fashion show chaos, and hope collapses again. Spoilers and updates for the next 3 weeks of The Bold and the Beautiful, which run from July 13th to July 31st, indicate some unexpected events that could change everything. Sheila Carter will get some good news during the week when John Finn Finnegan consents to talk to Steffi Forrester Finnegan about acknowledging his biological mother. Finn's adoptive mother will be busy telling Daphne Rose Walton some bad news in the interim. Lee Finnegan will let Daphne know that she has an infertility problem, forcing her to ask Steffi for help during this trying time. After that, Finn will encourage Steffi to let Sheila into her heart, saying that she has changed, but Steffi is not convinced. Finn tries to get Sheila some family visitation, but Steffi seems committed to keeping the restriction in place. Will Spencer find himself yearning for Electra Forrester once more, only to encounter her rejection once more? Melissa Dillon and a few other endearing women at Bikini Bar will try to lead Will on a fresh amorous journey in the meantime. After a temporary postponement due to Hope Logan Spencer's striking Logan debut, Eric Forrester's fashion show may finally take place during the week of the Forresters. But will Forrester Creations fail miserably at this fashion show? When the Forresters present their new couture collection, there's no guarantee that they will get the response they want. On the other hand, Sheila might face a major setback. Finn may have to comfort his birth mother about the halted progress if Steffi doesn't change her mind about keeping Sheila out of their life. Furthermore, Hope Logan Spencer may face additional turmoil when Brooke Logan Forrester returns from the wellness center in the upcoming weeks. After their mother-daughter altercation, will Liam Spencer tell Brooke about Hope's panic attack? Is it feasible that Brooke may see Hope fall apart during another one of those attacks? There might be more events involving Brooke during the week of July 27th to 31st. Hope might have further episodes of fainting if the stress persists, but Brooke might also be able to forgive her for betraying her. Conflict between Brooke and Ridge Forrester, as well as other employees at Forrester Creations, could result from this. Daphne and Carter Walton, meantime, may look into family options like adoption or surrogacy despite their marital problems brought on by the burden of having a child. Finally, Sheila might plot to change Steffi's mind because she won't tolerate not having access to Finn and Hayes Finnegan. RJ and Dylan's different paths lead to the same goal. Taylor Hayes may worry about her daughter's safety. Dylan fed Will lines and charmed him at the beach house. She expressed her desire for him to have more joy and smiles. Will, however, saw what was happening. He moved away from Dylan after buttoning his shirt. He was aware that she was attempting to lift his spirits, but his thoughts were focused on Electra. Will expressed regret to Dylan. Knowing how much this split meant to him, she accepted it. All she wanted was for him to be not alone. In the meantime, Electra told RJ in the Forrester Creations design office that she can't avoid Will since she loves him so deeply. RJ disparaged the Spencers. He discussed Bill's past and described what he had done to Katie, Brooke, and his mother. He then talked about what Liam had done to his sisters, Hope and Steffi. Will was the same and will never change, according to RJ. After Will and Electra reconciled, Dylan and RJ first decided to rely on one another. They would support one another in moving forward. However, things soon came to a stop as they both discovered they were still attracted to one another. Unknowingly, RJ and Dylan are now working together to separate Will and Electra. RJ restated his father's words. Spencers and Forresters don't get along. Dylan saw that her friend can be stiff and well-groomed. She also believes that everyone else in her immediate vicinity is flawless. Will was more of a free spirit, Dylan noted. Will questioned whether the true issue was being himself. Will was reminded by Dylan that she was spared from homelessness by the true him. Dylan and RJ made every effort to present their case. However, they were unable to reach Will and Electra. Will came to the realization that Electra was still necessary in his life. Knowing that her family views him as a dirty Spencer, he arrived at the Forrester mansion. Will pleaded with Electra to return in that vulnerable time. He wanted to know that Electra also needed him. Finn's Sheila dilemma, Dylan seduces Will, and Daphne receives a devastating diagnosis. This is a recap of The Bold and the Beautiful. Daphne Rose Walton receives a devastating diagnosis in today's episode. Melissa Dillon makes a seductive move on Will Spencer in the meanwhile. Jessica asks Dylan about Electra Forrester. The woman claims that Will and Electra split up. Jessica finds it unbelievable. The blonde is aware of Dylan's strong feelings for Will. She ought to pursue Will. Dylan is reluctant to jeopardize her friendship with Electra. Jessica is skeptical. Dylan believes she shouldn't take any chances at this time. Jessica persists in encouraging her to pursue Will. Dylan acknowledges that she thinks Will is her soulmate. Jessica leaves as Will walks in. Dylan is sad that Will is experiencing this once more. Will requires a beverage. The man who punched R.J. Forrester won't say he's sorry. He was taught to straighten his head by Bill Spencer. Will believes that since Dylan is Electra's buddy, he shouldn't speak. Will is reminded by Dylan that she is also his buddy. Dylan observes Will as he strays. Daphne and Steffi Forrester Finnegan are eating lunch at FC. The nose discusses her impending medical visit. Daphne is escorted to the appointment by Carter Walton. The nose assures him that he may attend the meeting and that she will be all right. Daphne thinks she's running late when Carter leaves. Steffi offers to take her. RJ visits to examine Electra's jewelry. They discuss Will and the altercation. According to Electra, she left the beach home. Will's brutality will not be accepted by Electra. Additionally, Rich Forrester clarified that Spencers and Forresters are incompatible. RJ concurs with Ridge's statement. Electra is reminded by RJ of all the times Will has let her down. RJ claims that Will is detrimental to Electra. John Finnegan is interrupted by Lee Finnegan at the hospital. What's on his mind so much? Lee has to break awful news to a patient. Finn must break the dreadful news to Steffi. Finn describes Sheila Carter's visit. He has some sympathy for her. Has she truly changed? Daphne and Steffi arrive. Finn leaves the women because he has a patient. Lee is stepping in for Daphne because her doctor had an emergency. Lee clarifies Daphne's early menopause. Daphne says it's stress. Lee, however, lists every symptom. Daphne will never be able to have children as a result. Dylan surprises Will by showing up at the beach house. She simply wants to see how he is doing. Will is angry, but not because of Dylan. The woman is interested in hearing his side of the tale. Will believes Electra overreacted, but he is unable to provide an explanation. Dylan puts her arms around Will, gushing about how attractive he is. Unlike Electra, she would never abandon him. Dylan is incredibly daring. Dylan then takes it a step further and begins unbuttoning Will's shirt. Did Dylan faint, or is this actually happening? Will's guilty conscience, Steffi's urgent support. There will be spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful. We'll see Steffi Forrester Finnegan helping her pal on tomorrow's episode. Will Spencer, meantime, is troubled with guilt. Discover what will happen next in the CBS soap opera by continuing to read. Melissa Dillon's insane attraction. Let's start this post with Melissa Dillon. We saw Dillon attempt to be Will's friend in the episode. Her eyes rolled in the back of her skull after that. Before we know it, Dillon is essentially violently attacking Will in his own house. Dillon is infatuated with him, but we weren't prepared for her to show such a strong interest in him so quickly. After passing out, we're speculating that this could be a dream. The camera may have focused on her rolling eyes because of this. Will Spencer's remorse. Additionally, it is said that Will is overcome with guilt for lying to Electra. Thus, it doesn't sound like Will and Dillon take any action. It sounds like Will is still by himself at home thinking. Will might feel bad about simply leaving if Dillon passed out. Will might insist that Dillon stay over to make sure she doesn't suffer a concussion. Torn Electra Forrester. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful show that Electra is often told that Spencers and Forresters are incompatible. But that doesn't make her affections for Will go away. Is there a reason why Electra is overreacting? The diagnosis of Daphne Rose Walton. Daphne will be devastated by Lee Finnegan's, Naomi Matsuda, diagnosis. Lee was filling in because Daphne's usual doctor had an emergency. But what if Lee picked up the incorrect case file? Even though Daphne's menopause is premature, she still seems quite young. Either way, Carter Walton will regret not taking his wife with him. Daphne will therefore need to figure out how to tell Carter the news. Steffi will be there to assist her pal in the interim. What will now happen to Carter's and Daphne's dreams? Will Steffi give them an incredible present, and how might this impact their marriage?